Is a hip-hop producer and musician who was born and raised in KwaMagxaki in Port Elizabeth. Now, in the early 2000s, she relocated to Pretoria, where she got her first break, scoring a jingle with Take 5, which was a youth program on SABC 1. But since then, she has been involved in the creation for her soundtracks to the state. Her single, titled Only, did very well, and she is currently working on her very first album, titled The Second Time Around. This morning, she talks to us about her offering and more. Very good morning and welcome to Morning Live.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
You're working on an album called The Second Time Around.
Yeah.
That tells me there's a whole lot of significance behind that title. Talk to me about that.
It's basically trying to, there was a point that I did try to make an album and it didn't work out. So this is like basically the second chance that I'm kind of like giving myself. So I think that's why the title is fitting, The Second Time Around. I want people to kind of like have a different idea of what they knew before. So yeah, this is like a different way of introducing myself, reintroducing myself as an artist. So yeah, that's what it's about.
You've been in the industry for quite some time.
Yeah.
I'm quite surprised actually that you said this is your first national television interview. What do you think you're doing right this time around that's probably going to take you much further than you did the first time around when you tried?
I think now that I'm learning a bit more. I was very younger then when I started in the industry, and it was very difficult in terms of being a person who loves hip-hop, and I know that I didn't want to rap, but I want to sing, you know, and it was so difficult finding somebody who's going to accommodate me in that sense, and I just basically had to do it myself, you know. So I've always been independent and pushing the independent movement. So yeah, it's that kind of, you know, situation.
All right, cool. Your stage name, Isis.
Yes.
What is Isis and why Isis?
Well, it's not related to the ISIS things that are happening right now. No, I just need to clarify. I was given the name by my brother back in the day, maybe in the year 2000. There was a point where he wanted to start a recording company because he was also very passionate in the music. But that ship has sailed, but I kept the name, and they just told me, yo, Isis. And I'm like, what is Isis? I don't know what that is. So I basically went to research an encyclopedia. I found out she's a goddess, she's a queen,
an Egyptian queen.
Yeah,
so cared about people.
That's the Isis I'm representing.
All right, fantastic. We're glad to know that. Yeah. And how would you describe your sound? I mean, your performance earlier, I said to you, it's so soulful and so calming. How would you describe it? Is it pop? Is it jazz? Is it?
I really want to say my first love is hip hop because I love it. I grew up around it. My brother influenced me a lot, and so I knew that I loved this genre, but I didn't know how to go about it. So when I started discovering artists like Amela Roo, Erykah Badu, I was like, oh wow, there's this thing where it's like it's hip hop, but they're singing over the beats. So I decided, okay, this is my genre. And we call it new soul, I call it hip-hop jazz, I call it, because it's a mixture of both, I would say. Yeah.
All right, and what can we look forward to with The Second Time Around, and who have you worked with on the upcoming album?
Yes, I had the privilege of working with an artist called Sculptured Music, their production company. We did a song Only, and that's also on the album that's coming up. It did very well on the radio, got to #1 on Mosquito's top 10, so I'm very excited. And there's also another single that's going to come out from the same people, but there's also some production that I'm doing as well, because I want to break away from just being a vocalist and show people that I actually produce music as well. So they're going to get a piece of that production style and also a bit of vocal, so it's going to be interesting.
All right, and what can South Africa and Africa expect from you? What is the message that Isis brings to, you know, people's lives?
I think Miss Isis is basically here to say, look, I'm not necessarily trying to dominate or take anything away from a male-dominated kind of industry, because, you know, hip-hop, everybody assumes, you know, it's a male-dominated kind of thing. So I wanted to come through and say, hey, I'm a female, I don't rap, but I produce, you know. So I want people to know that, hey, there are females who produce and they're very good at it, you know, and they should open up the doors, give us the space to come through, and yeah, that's...
And with that said, it is Women's Month, and
Yes.
you're quite right in saying that hip-hop is mostly viewed to be very male-dominated and quite aggressive. So what would your message be to young female rappers, as you are also a hip-hop producer?
I think there's no other way but to keep pushing, you know, because for me it was so hard when I arrived in Joburg, finding beats and finding people to connect with, because I'm from the Eastern Cape, you know, and I didn't even understand the language. So I think you need to individually build yourself as an artist. So go out there. I mean, there's channels like YouTube now. You don't even need to go to school. You just, you know, Google, find out information, get to where you need to get to. It's right there. The information is there. Just find it.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much, Lady Isis. That is our first music guest, Nolundi Moletsane, now that she's married. She's better known as Isis. So you can make sure that you follow her on social media to find out more about her music and where she will be performing.